There's a door between you and the dog. Your son's door is closed. You go and get your rifle.
Correct.
And you come back to shoot the dog.
Oh, but I did get the rifle just in case. I told them the truth. That's the truth. I drew a diagram.
Okay, well, the deal is Justin, this is where we are, and there's nothing I can do to help you.
The video showcases an interview with a man whose mother, a judge, attempted to use her influence to shield him from attempted murder charges. Children of influential individuals sometimes believe their parents' status grants them an exemption, even when it involves breaking laws. Justin Haynes appeared to align with this mindset. In 2019, Haynes, who had a prior history of legal issues, engaged in a dispute with his girlfriend, Jasmine Perkins. During the altercation, Haynes' young son was elsewhere in the home, and Perkins' protective pit bull was also present. Perkins, feeling threatened by Haynes' increasing anger, sought refuge in a bedroom, securing herself with her dog. In a fit of rage, Haynes retrieved his rifle and fired multiple shots through the door, injuring Perkins twice, but not fatally. The dog also suffered harm during the incident. Perkins, in a panicky state, managed to alert the police, who quickly responded to the distress call while Haynes was fetching his firearm. Upon being taken into custody, Haynes contacted his mother, Judge Barbara Hobbs, for legal representation, a move that raised ethical concerns. Hobbs attempted to leverage her position to shield Haynes from facing charges despite the severity of the situation.
Yeah, what's in the news?
Right here.
They mentioned you?
Hmm?
They mentioned you?
Coming?
Did they mention you?
Who? No, they mentioned me. I would have been very upset if they should.
Do you want to be present while we speak to him?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You're welcome to sit next to him.
Sure.
I'll move your chair around a little bit. So just so you're aware, the recording is now going. I'm going to back up record this as well in audio. This is Investigator Kelly Isaacs. She's assisting me, tonight.
Okay.
Mr. Haynes, you're present with your attorney. However, I'm still going to read you your rights, just so you're aware of them, okay? Before you answer any questions or make any statements, you must fully understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have them present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand each of these rights as I've explained to you?
I do.
Okay. Have you previously asked any of the law enforcement officers to allow you to speak to an attorney about this incident? Which you said yes. Your attorney's here. And having these rights in mind, do you wish to talk to me about this now?
Yeah, tell them the truth.
So,
Encouraged by his legal counsel, who incidentally is also his mother, Haynes begins to address the situation.
this is kind of unique. Your mom is also your lawyer, all right? No matter how far into this you get, I'm sure she's explained this to you, you can stop, okay? I'm not going to push you to do anything you don't want to do,
I understand.
okay? And we'll go through it as much as you want to or as little as you want to, all right?
Yes, sir.
If for any reason you don't agree, because family's family, I understand. This, like I said, this is more emotional than just your typical.
We can proceed.
Okay. Yes, all right. So, how I understand it is, from what you've told officers so far, is that the dog was attacking you. You were scared and shot.
I was in fear for my life. The dog had already bit me at that time. there was some type of disagreement. I don't even know what the circumstances for the disagreement was, but she had so-called barricaded herself within the room with the dog.
Okay. And this is
being the deterrent for me to come into the room. She obviously knew that the dog was upset, because she was upset anytime I've dealt with her, and the dog, and she gets upset. The dog tends to mirror her emotions. I went in the room to try to speak with her about what was going on. The dog immediately got upset and disgruntled. She tried to restrain the dog at that point, and I reached into the closet to try to go and get something out of the closet.
Mm-hmm. What were you trying to get out of the closet?
Just some clothes.
Okay.
I was just trying to put on some drawers and a shirt. I didn't have anything on at the time.
Okay.
So I went in there to try to retrieve some stuff. In the process, she's trying to restrain the dog because she's arguing with me, and at the same time the dog is upset.
What was the argument over?
Because she didn't feel that it was appropriate that she was not able to come to the house.
Okay. This is not a house where she lives, correct?
No, it's not her house. It's,
Okay.
it's where I stay.
Okay.
They've already told her that she's not welcome at the house. There's a trespass order against her at the house.
Okay. But you allowed her there initially tonight?
I allowed her to
Okay.
pick up the dog.
Okay.
There's a trespass order against her at the house. So in the process, I allowed her to come in and retrieve her dog. She decided to stay longer than it is that it would have taken to take the dog
Okay.
from the house. In the process, she lingered around, stayed in the living room or whatever, ended up coming into some type of confrontation with me. I don't even know what it was about, but I'm assuming it was the fact that she could not be at the house because of what my grandfather and my mother told her about coming to the house. And this has to do with cutting my tires and doing all kinds of other things at the house. So I was explaining to her that this is not going to be appropriate. You have to take this dog here. From here, I can't watch the dog anymore. Anyway, she got an attitude about that. She goes into the...
When did you have that conversation? I'm sorry.
This is just prior to...
So in person?
Yes, sir.
Did you communicate this at all by phone? Earlier? Like, come get the dog?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I told her, and I'm not sure if it was via text or a phone call, where it is that I told her that it was inappropriate.
The reason I'm asking is if there's any kind of proof to what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to know it. So if there's cell phone communication between you two.
I can't remember if there were text messages or not. I would have to reference my phone, but I know it is that I told her that it was...
Even call logs, yeah.
I believe there is a text message that indicates that I was not cool with the dog and that we needed to be... If the dog was going to stay any longer than it is as she intended, that we needed to be careful about it, because they didn't want the dog there, and I didn't personally want the dog there because he's a liability.
Haynes is shifting a significant portion of the blame onto the dog, despite the absence of any evidence suggesting prior aggression from the animal.
At that point, I indicated to her that...
Why is it that you... Let me just ask this. Yesterday I went by the house on my way to church, and I saw the dog in the yard. I went through the roof. So I know...
Okay.
You have to get rid of it.
It's concerning that Judge Hobbs would interrupt, considering that her testimony holds minimal significance in this case. As a judge herself, she should be well aware that her participation creates a conflict of interest and is highly inappropriate.
Right.
She made it very clear that the dog needed to go.
Okay.
At that point, I indicated that to her earlier in the day, or at least at anywhere from lunchtime to closing time, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
That the dog was not welcome at the house and that she would have to make other arrangements as far as keeping the dog. She said something about being Airbnb, and that's what her house was doing, and that she couldn't keep the dog at the house because due to obviously her rental situation with Airbnb. Once it is that we got into an argument about the dog, she decided to barricade herself, in that's my words, barricade herself within the room to where it is that I couldn't access my own bedroom without having to go through her or the dog.
Okay.
I go into the bedroom to try to go ahead and talk to her about what it is that's going on and removing the dog from the house. Dog gets disgruntled. she is restraining the dog in this kind of manner, right?
Okay, so she's got it like around the body, the neck?
Around the neck.
Okay.
Trying to keep the dog from advancing. Anyway, I go into the room, try to retrieve whatever it is that I retrieve from the closet. The dog bites me on the leg.
Okay.
From that point, I retreat out of the room. I leave the room, shut the door behind me, and I immediately go and grab, I guess it would be the AK that's in my house.
Okay. Describe that gun so we know which one it is.
It is a Kalashnikov, an AK-47.
Is it like a short barrel type gun, a long barrel, 16-inch barrel type gun? Does it have a stock on it?
It's got a stock.
It's a rifle. Okay.
Yes,
all right. What color is it?
It's a wood stock, and it's a pretty much black gun.
Okay.
The handgun it is that I usually keep in the house happened to be in the closet, so I didn't have any access to that, so I retreated to whatever it is that I had to defend myself against the dog.
And where did you say you kept the AK?
It's in another bedroom, close to the bathroom on the other side of the house.
Okay.
Spare bedroom.
So you retreated from the bedroom because you couldn't go any further to get your pistol.
Correct.
So you retreated from the bedroom, went and got your AK-47
from another bedroom.
And came back to the...
As per the victim's account, Haynes was already armed, encouraging her to take precautionary measures by barricading herself in the bedroom.
Yes, sir. It's a 4-bedroom house.
Okay.
In the process, when it is that I tried to go back in there and ask her to take the dog up out of here, because the bedroom that I share is adjacent to the bedroom that my son shares. It's right across. There's a bathroom here, my bedroom, and his bedroom. So when it is that I opened the door, the dog was sitting right behind the door again, right behind my bedroom door.
Okay.
So when it is that I open up the door, the dog is right there. Shut the door. I ask her, Jasmine, take the dog up out of the house. I'm telling you, I'm serious. The dog has already bit me. Shoot. Through the door, in my intention is at the dog. Right?
Okay.
Because at this point, I don't want my son to walk out of the room who was just behind me, not even 2 or 3 feet from behind me, in defense. So I shoot right through the corner or the lock of the door, right? Okay. At where it is that I perceive the dog to still be. Upon doing that, she starts yelling and blah 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 blah. You shot me, and I didn't see the dog after that since I was apprehended and everything. But my intention was to go ahead and deal with the threat at the time because I was in fear for my life and obviously for my son's life.
Haynes not only shot his girlfriend, but also caused injury to the dog during the incident.
Was the dog trying to get through the door?
Yes, the dog. So
there'll be scratch marks on the door.
I don't know how you would say the dog is trying to get through the door, but he can jump, and he scratches at the door. Even when you let him out to go and urinate out on the back porch, you can hear him scratching at the door and jumping to do so. Okay. So while I was outside of the door, the dog is whining, doing the kind of whimpering sound, and scratching at the door as well as jumping at it. So when I come back to the door, it's the process of him doing all of that, and I basically just reacted.
Okay.
Can I just ask one question? Why were you afraid of the dog?
The dog had already bit me, and she has personally told me that the dog had mauled her ex-fiance to the point where he had plastic surgery on one side of his face because of a similar situation just like this, where he was trying to enter a room. She was apparently in the room, and the dog...
Had the dog been involved in a severe attack previously, standard protocols would likely have authorized its removal from the owner and the possibility of it being put down.
Attacked him.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a police report about it, but his name is Junior Tate.
Okay.
And he had to have some type of surgery, according to her, as a result of the incident with the dog, or the contact with the dog.
Okay. Now,
so I know that the dog is capable of hurting someone. Because prior to that night and prior to our interaction, he had knocked my son down already, and he began to cry. So I put him in the room, and I actually locked the door at that time.
What, like?
Yes, sir.
Was the dog attacking your son, or
it wasn't
or just running around the house? I mean,
I can't discern whether or not it was. I won't say he was attacking, but he was playing in such a manner that, or he was dealing with my son in such a manner as that my son started crying.
If the dog had a documented history of aggression, why did Haynes allow its presence in the house with his child initially? Moreover, if he genuinely feared the dog's potential for attack, why did he attempt to force entry into the bedroom? Additionally, his lack of clothing during the altercation raises questions. If his intent was to evict the woman, why wasn't he dressed? These inconsistencies in Haynes's account raise doubts and contradictions in his narrative.
As far as, the dog viciously attacking your son, that's never happened.
Viciously attacking? No, I wouldn't say viciously. But the dog has a tendency to play very rough.
Okay.
Even if
Playful.
it is with a child.
Okay. So the dog plays rough, likes to jump up on people, and in this case, today, bit you.
Yes, sir.
Because you were arguing with its owner, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what part of the house did this happen where you were bitten?
In the bedroom.
In the bedroom.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
So you and her were in the bedroom.
Your bedroom?
Your bedroom?
She was in the bedroom.
She was in the bedroom. Uh-huh.
I was trying to enter my bedroom. This
right.
is what you would
right.
I guess consider.
This is your house. Every room is yours. I get it.
Excuse me.
So the master bedroom?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I tried to enter the master bedroom, and the dog was literally sitting behind the door. Mm-hmm. She was in the bed. At that time, once it is that I came through the door, the dog got aggressive. And it may just be due to my mannerisms.
Yeah, I'm sure you were mad that she was not listening. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's your house. She's not allowed to be there.
As a result, the dog, I would imagine, can sense my hostility, and as a result, gave hostility back.
Okay.
So when I came into the door, she realized that, because I personally believe she knows the temperament of her dog. She knows what is going to set him off. So I went into the room, and as soon as I did, she tried to restrain the dog.
Okay.
Right? So when I went in there, I went directly into my closet, and I had to walk past them because the bed, if this is the bed and this is the closet that I had to access, I would have had to walk from the door right past the bed to the closet here.
Okay.
As a result, when I walked past the closet, they were sitting in this area.
Okay.
Right? And when I scooted past, I didn't get bit at that time, but when I walked back, like out the door, the dog bit me at that time.
Okay.
Earlier, Haynes asserted that it was the first instance the dog had stayed in his home. However, his current claim contradicts this, stating that he had removed the dog from the area during previous altercations.
Do you know the capabilities of the rifle you chose to use?
I do know the capabilities.
Okay. What kind of ammo did you put in the gun?
It's always loaded with, if I'm not mistaken, 5.56. I believe that's what you AK-47. 5.56. 223 would be. No, I'm sorry.
Should be 7.62 by 30.
Yes, that is what it is.
And an AK-47.
Yes, sir.
What kind of rounds, though? Do you use, like, self-defense rounds, or do you use target rounds?
Target rounds.
Just target rounds?
Yes,
okay. And, you do know it's capable of going through a door?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, even... Yes, I'm fully aware of that. But even with my mind, even if I was able to access the Glock that was in my room, it would have gone through the door anyway. It's
right.
There are hollow point rounds in the Glock.
But when it comes to a rifle, are you aware that it can pass through multiple?
I'm aware of that.
multiple doors in one shot, multiple walls, that kind of thing? I mean, were you concerned with that at all when you shot at this dog?
I was more or less concerned with the threat. At that point, I was in fear of my life. If that dog had gotten out of the room, at that point, I didn't know what he was capable of.
I get it. I mean, you know...
Had Haynes genuinely been concerned about the dog's potential threat, he could have taken his son, exited the house, and sought help from the authorities. Instead, his decision to shoot at a closed door raises questions about his actions in that situation.
Very heated situation. I mean, you've got a crazy woman in your house who's protecting a dog that has just bit you. And, you know, your son's there. It's a very, very volatile situation. So I get it. You're not exactly thinking, okay, well, what if this thing goes through the house, hits a neighbor's house, that kind of thing. That should be a concern of yours. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I don't think you were necessarily thinking that at the time.
I have heard it before.
Okay.
I've got a cousin who mentioned that very specifically.
I just from what I know and how you guys were found, she was not clothed.
Clothed?
She did not have clothing on. I think she had underwear on, and that was it.
Yes,
bottom underwear.
And that's about.
And you
normal.
only had boxer shorts on and a shirt when officers arrived.
Correct. That's about normal for how we would generally be with each other. And I'm not sure if her intention was to stay the night, but I did not have the intention of her staying the night. Okay. I was in my boxer shorts generally when she came over.
Let's nip another allegation in the bud.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Did you guys have sex tonight?
No.
Okay. That wasn't your intention at all?
No.
You didn't want that?
We did have sex the prior night, but we did not have sex tonight, no.
Okay. I mean, typically that's what's going on when two people are, you know, half naked. All right.
I can understand that.
Okay. The other thing, too, is did you attempt to get in the door at any time with a butter knife?
I did try to get in the door with a butter knife. Yes, sir.
At what point?
Once she was in a situation where the dog was attempting to try, in my opinion, to attack me, I used the butter knife to try to enter my bedroom to get back into the room, and I used the butter knife for protection. That was my instant reaction. Once it is that I could not get back into my bedroom, I went and got the rifle.
The detective is expected to believe that Haynes attempted to use a butter knife against a large dog he deemed dangerous, and then forcibly entered the room to confront it. However, as Haynes continues to speak, his account becomes increasingly nonsensical and contradictory.
That's more of a lapse in judgment issue than anything. Why she'd be allowed to be there if you guys were having so many problems. That's a matter you need to discuss maybe later with your mom. But you know, it's
okay. So I don't mean to let everybody into my personal business, but I've tried to make it work with this girl beyond what would be normal reason. She gave me herpes.
Okay.
You don't need to go there.
Hobbs quickly intervenes, eager to prevent her son from revealing any details that might suggest a motive for harming Perkins.
But
you don't need to go there.
Okay.
Just stick with tonight.
Okay. It's okay. Let me ask you this. Officers were responding out there. When they arrived at your house, they described it as being very, very quiet. No one was flagging anybody down. Hey, there's someone shot inside my house, anything like that. Is there a reason for that?
Once it is that I was able to see what happened to her, I was trying to carry her to the door and get her to the hospital or some type of medical attention once I seen what had happened.
Is there any reason you didn't call 911? At all?
Believe it or not, the police had gotten there so quick, I didn't even have a chance to find a phone to call 911. But once I had seen what had happened to her, that was my intention, because it wasn't something that you could have put a Band-Aid on or...
Okay. At no time did you refuse to call 911 on her, for her?
No, not at all.
That conversation never happened?
No, if she needed 911 or if she wanted me to call them, I would have called them. My intention was not to shoot her. My intention was to deal with the threat.
Okay.
So if she needed medical assistance, I wouldn't have had any problem with calling the cops.
Okay.
Or anybody else who would have came.
And like I said, officers got there, it's quiet. There's no one outside flagging anybody down.
I was surprised at how quickly the officers had gotten there.
Okay. I don't doubt the dog bit you. I saw your leg. Dog bit you. I mean, that definitely happened. What I'm having trouble believing is that you shot this dog or tried to shoot this dog in self-defense.
Why is that?
Well, you're shooting through a closed door the dog can't get through, first of all. I think you shot in anger, all right? And whether it was your intention to shoot the dog or not, I don't know. You're shooting at your own door, in your own house, and you're in a heated situation with somebody, like you said, that you've got a lot of reason to not like her. The one reason you just spoke about is, reason enough to hate her forever.
But that's not justification to shooting her.
No, it's not.
And that was
I'm not
my
saying
intention.
that.
But that the dog and I, more or less, do not get along.
Okay.
And I don't get along with the dog more so that I don't get along with her. So any kind of disgruntled disagreement that me and her could have had is secondary to my interaction with the particular dog.
Let's take her out of the equation. Say she's not even in the room.
Yes, sir.
The dog's locked in a room. She's not there.
No problem.
Obviously, you're mad at the dog because it bit you. I mean, is that why you shot the dog? Is because you were mad at it?
Absolutely not. The dog acts completely different when she is there versus when she is not there. The dog almost acts like he's some kind of stepchild, if you will, when she's not around versus when she's in the equation. Apparently, he feels that he has leeway.
Okay. Well, I don't want to keep playing games with you. I respect your mother a whole lot. Okay.
Well, officer, I'm not trying to play games with you either, but that is my
my true, honest belief is you were mad at this dog and you shot the dog or tried to shoot the dog in anger. You didn't intend to shoot her. I'm not saying you're even capable of wanting to shoot a person unless you felt that they were an imminent threat to you. I'll give you that one. Okay. I don't take you for someone that would just willy-nilly shoot somebody. All right. You're not that type of person. But
the detective proceeds cautiously, avoiding any actions that might offend Hobbs, understanding that her influence could potentially harm his career.
You've been drinking. Emotions got the better of you tonight. And I wholeheartedly believe you shot at that dog on purpose because you were mad at the dog. Not because it was a threat to you.
I do believe it was a threat. It wasn't my intention to be mad at the dog. It's just a dog. And I take care of the dog when she's not around. Okay. I come home every day to walk the dog, to take him out, to let him use the bathroom. I feed the dog. I provide water for the dog. I don't hate the dog because I own a pit bull just like that particular dog.
Why? I hate the dog. It bit me.
But he only bit me tonight. He's never bit me before. Even if he's had altercations with I wouldn't say altercations, but if he was too playful with my son, that's not reason that I would want to shoot him. I have no hostility towards the dog. The dog is a dog. But once he bit me, at that point I was in fear.
Bite? The fact that it bit you isn't even the biggest problem with this dog. It was abandoned in your house.
What do you mean
by a woman you don't get along with.
What do you mean abandoned, though? She knew good and well.
Oh, I mean, she left it there for 4 or 5 days knowing that you weren't allowed to have a dog at your house. I call that abandonment.
I'm not sure he didn't know he wasn't supposed to have a dog until yesterday.
Well, they
told me about the insurance policy.
Right, they didn't want the dog.
Yesterday?
Yesterday, okay. On my way to church. I was driving down the street, taking my mother to church, and I saw this dog in the yard.
How long have you lived there?
He's been there for
8 months,
yeah.
8 months, and you were never allowed to have your dog there?
Well, I've never been able to have a pit there. There was a dog that lived next door who was basically wild and was living next with a lady who didn't take care of the dog at all, and they didn't have any problem with me keeping that dog.
Okay. But it wasn't a pit bull?
No, it wasn't a pit bull breed. It was more like a canine, if you will. Well, not canine, but a Labrador.
Okay.
The dogs popped off being difficult yesterday because I told him, get your ass out of my house. Either you or the dog go.
Okay.
At that point, I let her know that the dog couldn't stay at the house because the jig was up. We had to come and get the dog. Can't keep the dog here anymore. She did not like that. She didn't like the fact that she had to remove the dog from the house. And basically, when she came over to so-called retrieve the dog, she just stayed. And lingered, rather. I wouldn't say stayed, but she just lingered.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter was, I mean, you guys were both disrobed, for whatever reason, and I think her staying there was something more of an invitation than just to retrieve the dog. Be that as it may.
Okay.
All right. You argued. The dog bit you. But I'm having a very hard time believing that dog, at any point, at any point you tried to get back into that room where the dog was being contained, that you felt this dog was a threat to you if you're trying to go back into the room. That's not a plausible, logical.
But it's my property, though. I mean, in this particular situation, it is my property. I don't feel like I should be barred from any room just because a dog and a girl that I don't like is in the room. I should be able to access it if I need to get my cell phone, if I need to go ahead and get a pair of drawers. I feel like I should be obligated to be able to go into my own bedroom without having to worry about somebody in there that I don't particularly like who owns a dog. It wasn't my intention to try to harm the dog.
Certainly, Haynes had the right to access any room in his own house. A straightforward call to the police could have facilitated the eviction of both Perkins and the dog without escalation. It appears this situation wasn't truly about the dog or retrieving clothes from the bedroom.
Because I don't like pit bulls, but the dog had already bit me significantly enough to where it is that I felt that this dog was a threat.
I mean, whether I'm in my underwear or not, whether I have my cell phone or not, have access to any kind of communication or not, I am not going to put myself back into a room where a dog just bit me. Bar none. There's a locked, closed door between me and the dog. I know it can't get through. I'll walk next door, knock on the door of the neighbor's house and say, hey, I need to call the cops. I need to get this crazy whatever out of my house along with her stupid dog because it just bit me. And then we would have come, removed her from your house, probably arrested her for trespassing because you kept telling her to leave, right?
Absolutely.
And taken the dog as well.
I'm not going to argue with that. You're right. Okay. The better judgment would have been to just call the police and have it dealt with.
I mean, part of something being a threat to you is not putting yourself in harm's way, which is what you did. But
the dog is ultimately in the house. If I had walked away to go and take a piss, right? Excuse me, but to go and use the bathroom, and my son had opened the door. Mm-hmm. Based on the circumstances at the time, it wouldn't have been a situation where I would have just called the police and had them summoned to the house or however long that would take it. My son likes Jasmine, or the young lady who was at the house. He likes her. So if he had opened up the door to try to see what was going on.
Now feelings are getting in the way, okay? When it comes to stuff like that. You're talking about something that's a threat to you and your son. Get him out of the house. Simple as that. You go next door, you use the phone, you get him out of the house.
Well, I won't argue with that. Right. I definitely probably could have used better judgment.
And your son's behind a closed door, this dog's behind a closed door, you go and get your rifle and start shooting through the door. That's I don't know what else to say about it.
My son is old enough to open up doors. My son is old enough to open up locked doors at this point. at that particular time, when it is that I retreated away from the door, I felt that he was at danger because he likes this young lady, and if he had opened up the door in consequence of trying to see what was going on, I felt it was a liability to him as well as me at that particular time. It wasn't a situation where I was looking at it like, I'm just going to shoot this dog because I'm upset with the particular dog.
Yeah, but, you know, it's not an imminent threat at that point. Your mom knows the meaning of the word imminent.
I'm very aware of what imminent threat means.
I've seen
But
dogs. That dog.
imminent threat is the reason why they are insurance.
That's enough. Like I said,
Well, imminent threat is the reason why insurance is the way that it is about pit bulls and Rottweilers and these things, is because you never can predict the...
Haynes and Hobbs attempted to portray the dog as dangerous solely based on its breed, which doesn't align logically, given that Haynes himself owned a pit bull.
personality traits or any of the nature of these particular animals. Once the dog had bit me at that point, the dog needed to be removed from the house in one way or another. If my son had opened up that door and got mauled after he had already been knocked down, in my opinion, that's too far for me to be...
So you wanted to remove the dog with the AK?
No, that wasn't my intention. My intention was to get the dog out of the house, period.
Okay.
The AK was only as a result after I had been bit by the dog, and she has already told me stories about her ex-fiance being mauled by the dog.
Okay. But you're trying to remove the dog with an AK-47. I mean, that's
Not necessarily. I'm trying to eliminate the threat.
Did you have a plan? I know that you grabbed the AK-47 for just in case.
Regardless of how Haynes attempts to narrate the events, shooting through a closed door with another person on the opposite side remains illogical and unjustifiable.
There's like a little area here. I guess that's unspoken for. There's a little area here, and I tried to fire in this direction. I guess, like you said, towards the closet. Mm-hmm. That was my intention, and not towards where it is that I last saw her.
When you opened the door and saw the dog sitting there, and then you shot it immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long was it before you shot? 1 second? 20 seconds?
You saw the dog, you went
Was
and
it
got
like
the
immediate?
AK and came back and shot through the door, correct?
I opened the door. I had the AK, opened the door to see if whether or not she was, or what was going on in the room. Noticed the dog was there, shut the door immediately, tried to talk to her or whatever. The dog kept barking, and I just shot 2 shots through the door.
Okay.
How long do you think it was that between time while y'all were?
Between the shots,
Well, yeah.
maybe a minute, 30 seconds, maybe a minute at the most.
And you had told her to get the dog and get out, right?
Absolutely.
As you're yelling through this door.
Yes.
AK in hand, you're yelling through the door, come get the dog, get it out
I
of
don't
the
believe
house.
she knew I had an AK.
Right.
But yes,
But
that was my intention.
You did.
Yes.
So you tell her to come get the dog, and then you shoot at the dog. Right.
Not in that fashion, but...
I mean, that's what you're telling her is to get the dog and get out of the house.
Correct.
And then you thought it was a good idea to shoot at the dog. Then I'm not saying you tried to shoot her. Okay.
No,
That's not what I'm trying to say. Is that
Yes, sir.
in the heat of the moment, what you're telling her to do is in direct contradiction with you trying to defend yourself against this dog and shooting at the
What
dog.
I'm telling her the second time it is before I let the barrage of shots off is that the dog bit me. Your dog just bit me.
Right.
You need to do something about this dog. The dog
Right.
is out of control. Bang, bang is how it basically went down. At that point, I wasn't interested in her taking the dog out of the house.
Okay.
If you will, I wanted to deal with the issue.
This is a mess. Okay. This is an absolute mess. All right. Like I said, I don't think you're a bad person. I don't think you intended to do this to her. Right?
That was not my intention. No.
Right. Okay. But, you know, there are consequences for what you did. Okay? And you're going to have to face those consequences. All right? I'm going to have to talk to her, too. She's told us a little bit about what happened.
Okay.
You know, and She did say there was an issue with calling law enforcement, I guess because, I don't know, if you were scared, whatever. You know, she got help.
Hasn't been an issue. She's called law enforcement numerous times on me. And I don't know if you can check TPD, but there's
Okay.
But I mean, just for frivolous things, though.
All right,
like,
that's enough, Justin. Okay.
Do you want to talk to him again, or?
No, like I said, I know about pit bulls. I got one and he's attacked dogs and tried to kill people. They will kill if they think if their owners being attacked.
I get that.
Zeus will kill you. He thought I was sitting in the kitchen one day and I screamed, just being stupid, and the dog came in there fully in position to attack, and it wasn't nobody in but me.
Right. I get it. They tend to be an aggressive breed.
So I know they're very protective of their owner. I am now the owner. I've been the owner for the last year. So I'm hoping y'all don't charge him tonight or whatever and finish your investigation.
Hobbs lacks the authority to propose avoiding charges against Haynes at that moment, and her demeanor appears dismissive of the entire incident.
We might not have a choice. He might be charged tonight. So,
what am I being charged with?
Yeah, at this point, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon comes to mind. Possibly attempted murder based on what she tells us. So, I know what you're telling me. Trying to shoot the dog. Fact of the matter is, she shot. The dog isn't. There's an argument beforehand. A lot of emotion, a lot of anger going on inside the house. I mean, I'm not saying that the charge won't change later, but that's what I'm thinking right now.
Is it possible that you can finish your investigation before you charge him? He ain't going nowhere. I live here.
Right. He's going to stay right there until we're finished with the search warrant, until we're done talking to her. So he's going to be held until that, and then we will determine what charge exactly. But right now, you know.
So what I'm saying to you doesn't bear any weight on.
Oh, it does. It does.
But what you're telling me is that I'm going to be charged for trying to defend myself from a dog who has already hurt someone and could potentially, and not potentially, but hurt me and could have possibly hurt my son. What you're telling me is that I'm going to be charged for attempted murder because of this?
No. Because
or aggravated battery because of this?
I don't believe that's what happened. That you were simply defending yourself.
You don't believe that?
No, I don't. I'd be lying to you if I said I did. I don't. You shot through a closed door at a dog. You said it was a threat when you were trying to get back into the room.
But it is my house.
You put yourself back into a situation. It's the same thing with staying your ground. It's the same thing with everything else.
Not in your house, though.
If you put yourself back into the situation, okay?
So wait a minute. But what if
element of fear?
If a person came to my house to rob the house with a dog, and I shot through the door to try to kill the dog who was trying to rob my house, am I looking at attempted murder for that?
Okay,
or aggravated battery for that?
No, that's enough. Excuse me.
But that is hardly the case here.
How is it hardly the case? I was trying to defend my son who was behind me.
Okay, all right.
Listen to your mom. Okay. In the meantime, if you would like to speak with him, given our decision now, you're more than welcome to do so.
What
if
decision
not,
is that?
Right now, he is under arrest. Okay? Again, we haven't searched the house yet. We have not done a detailed interview with her yet. Okay? I'm sure there'll be holes in her story too. Okay? And again, the stuff I'm talking about, the forensics evidence and all that stuff, we still have to do that. Okay? Like I said, that could change, but you're not going anywhere until something does change. Okay?
What holes in the story of mine?
I've tried to explain that to you already.
But
you leave it alone, okay?
I'm going to be the one who has to sit in here asking myself these questions. What holes in my story
Justin,
other than the fact that I was
listen.
trying to defend myself against
Justin,
this
there's
young
all
lady?
kinds of- okay, listen. I'm not sure exactly what he has to do. He's in his home. He's in a place where he has a right to be. So we'll.
This is
have to
exactly
deal
my
with it.
point. Like, I should be able to defend myself.
Excuse me. I'm asking you is just not to put the charge on him until you're there. It's just a whole ramification of doing that. Is all I'm asking.
And yes, I completely understand your concern.
As Haynes starts to throw a tantrum regarding potential charges, his mother attempts to talk over him, recognizing that he's only damaging his own image. However, she worsens the situation by pressuring the detective to delay any action until the investigation concludes, a leniency unlikely to be extended to any other suspect.
But if a felony offense has occurred...
Wait, can I just make sure I understand this?
Don't
Justin,
interrupt
will
me.
you please just be quiet?
I just want to make sure I
Okay,
understand.
wait, please.
Don't interrupt me.
Okay, please, just be quiet. Just lean back. Lean back.
If-
Lean back.
If there's evidence to believe a felony offense occurs and I have probable cause for that felony, I have to make the arrest. You know that. I mean, I'm bound. I can't let someone with a felony go if there's probable cause for their arrest. We will.
What is the probable cause, officer?
Justin,
I can't say nothing.
just leave it. You're not going to change
I mean,
anyone's
you done
mind.
got my story, but I
Okay,
can't even
all right,
ask
now.
you what the probable
All right,
cause is.
I will say this. It'll go through my supervisors before any charge is written and any booking is done. It goes through my supervisors. It goes through probably our legal advisor at this point. And it will go through the state attorney's office as well. So I do have checks as well. If there's any reason they find that shouldn't be the case or he gets arrested tonight, okay. That's the only reason though.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
If someone with more authority than me to charge says don't charge him, that's what I'll do. But at this point, you know, I think we have to hold him.
Can I say something?
No, just listen, okay?
But I gotta sit here and just hold on to what it is that I wanted to ask.
Okay, you're being recorded. Let's get
Do you
done.
want to consult with her first before you ask any more
Not
questions?
at this point. I just want to know what it is that the probable cause is to charge me for what you're intending to charge me with. What is the probable cause?
He's already told you.
He hasn't told me.
That you're not acting in self-defense and you shot a woman in your house.
How do you know
was
that?
a guest in your house.
Okay. Based on what it is that I've told you, what makes you think that I didn't shoot in self-defense? If I open the door to my own...
Listen, arguing is not going to help the situation, okay?
Arguing is what war is for.
I'm assuming that you've already made up your mind then, in that instance. So arguing with you is not going to make a difference.
Right now, no. Not from you. No. Now, I will say this. If some more light is shed on this that could possibly affect...
What more light could be shed if you've already made up your
I
mind?
mean, that baby was standing there. So he was there and out in the open.
According
He
to
was
him, he's behind the door.
All the same, the
was
baby
there.
can open the
Shh,
door.
Be quiet. The baby was sitting there. The baby told me. The baby's telling you that he saw the shoot. I mean, I just said the baby was.
Saw blood. He was eventually out of that room.
Oh.
I mean, you know, there's time elapsed between the
But
time you shot me.
all I'm saying is that if the
Right. Okay, that's enough. All right, you've told your side of the story.
Right.
The officer doesn't believe that you were in fear, and the only issue I have is just charging him with something that potentially will not, it's not going to go forward. That's all I'm saying.
Right,
Because
right.
it sticks, it's there.
And I will
And I'm
be-
just saying that, he's not going anywhere.
Right.
He is not
That's
going
not
anywhere.
the problem though.
Oh,
If
just be quiet. He's not going anywhere. The booking is the issue.
I understand that, and trust me, I will tread lightly when it comes to that.
This is
I
crazy.
promise I will give him every benefit I
On my
can
defense.
to not have him booked into the jail tonight.
I would really appreciate that.
I know you would, and
I mean, you can,
And-
ultimately, he can get the charge. It's just getting booked in under the charge, and it conceivably, because, I've been down this road for 30, 40 years, and I don't think that it's going to go very far, but the fact that he's been booked in will go very far.
okay. I understand that. I understand that completely. I would want the same respect.
Especially when he shouldn't go to the jail. I know there's an issue about my children being in the jail.
Right.
So
And that's, again, that's a decision that also is above my head.
when I say my children, I'm not trying to curry favors. It's just that I got people in the jail that don't like me and truly don't find out who
Trust
he
me,
is.
that is a major concern for me as well.
Hobbs insists she isn't seeking favor, yet her actions unmistakably aim to do just that.
If there is any association between him and you, obviously it's a
His
it's
name
a
is the
concern.
same as mine.
Right. So obviously that is a huge concern for us as well, and I don't want something ill to befall your son because of a bad night. Okay.
I can't say anything.
No, just give it a break.
I want to, though.
Just enough already. Just settle down, okay? Let him do his job.
I didn't intend to shoot this girl. My intention was to go ahead and deal with the threat. My son is almost 4 now. He'll be 4 in October. He's capable of opening up the door. He was screaming the entire time. I understand what you're saying about there's not a threat, but the dog, if she even went out of the door to try to leave the house, the dog was still a threat to me. What you're saying is basically that the dog was not a threat just because he was behind a door. If she decided to go and take a piss, it's still a threat to me. The dog is the problem, not.
Is there anything you want to discuss with him outside of our presence?
No, I need to
Okay.
go. I've got some
Okay.
timeline, but I'm trying to figure out. Do you have any timeline at all in terms of this evening?
I wish I could give you an accurate one. I haven't even. I've written a paragraph or two of my probable cause for the search warrant for the house. So by the time it gets written, approved, signed by the judge, and then we're serving it at the house, I mean, we could be looking at daylight. It takes a while.
Okay.
So I'd like to tell you a couple hours, but I can't.
That's fine. I don't know because I need to go home. Can you turn that on?
Yes.
I need to go home because I have a child. I'm not gonna figure out how I'm gonna do that tomorrow. But I'm asking you in terms of when will you make the booking decision? Like I said, I don't care about the
Would you like me
charge.
to call you?
Yeah, I don't necessarily care about the charge. It's the booking process. If
Right.
there's a way that
Around
this
that.
man can be given some sort of appearance, because he ain't a threat. He ain't going nowhere. I mean, he's going right now because his grandfather has just evicted him. Going to be at my house.
Okay.
He's not going. He's going to be at my house. So I'm just any kind of.
I think the nature of the charge is, would be first appearance required. That's, like I said, that's a decision.
Listen, boy, be quiet. Just be quiet. I mean, is it possible for me to pop?
Either.
Jesus.
You want to talk outside?
No. Okay. All right.
Do you need another water or anything?
Hobbs decides to discontinue her efforts to protect Haynes and chooses to converse with a detective outside. The interview concludes, leaving Haynes waiting on his own.
I'll get you another water.
This is crazy, man.
These are small, so I got you two.
You don't believe what it is that I'm saying?
It's not
Can I just ask you what your name is?
Investigator Isaacs.
Investigator Isaacs?
Investigator Isaacs.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I mean, it's pretty clear what happened, at least from your side of, we asked very detailed questions, we have the diagram and everything, okay? The issue is, you say that you understand what imminent threat is. That's the issue here. Is it an imminent threat? The dog was behind the door, okay? So that's where it's going to be decided, okay? So ultimately, like he said, he's going to have to write it up. We're going to have to go search the house. We're going to have to get everything that we possibly can to tell what the truth was, to tell what actually happened. Her side of it, your side of it, what the evidence says, everything, okay? It's not like already made up our mind because...
But he's going to charge me, though.
That's what it looks like. But again, we've done this much work on this giant situation here, okay? So there's still work to be done. Things could change at any point. That's why it's ongoing. If something changes, you're going to be told, okay? So that's where we're at. We still have lots to do. We still have to get her side. We still have to see what the house looks like. Okay? So it's not, he's already made up his mind because he wants to charge. No. That's what it appears to be based on our conversation that we've just had with you, that you were here for. I mean, you were the one that told us everything. So.
But based on what it is that I told you, I sound like I moved without any disregard for human life?
No.
Because as far as I will interpret an imminent threat, if she opens the door, if she just decides that, hey, aggressive dog, I'm going to open the door and come out and talk to you, and the dog bites me again, then I have enough grounds to...
So, like I said, the definition of what imminent means, okay? Generally speaking, if the imminent threat is based on if this happens, then there's a threat, that's not imminent.
But he already bit me, though.
I know that, and I'm not saying, no one's denying you clearly have a dog bite. I'm there with you. I believe it. I would not want to mess with that dog either. And I certainly wouldn't want him around my child. Okay? It's were you forced to do it right then because of the threat? So, arguing, like you said, is for courts. So, if it comes to that...
I'm going to be charged with attempted murder.
No, he said it's a possibility. You asked what the outcomes could be. We told you what they could be, okay? We've got tons of work to do, and nothing's decided at this point. I'm just trying to be honest with you about what could happen. Worst case scenario. Doesn't mean that it's going to be that. Got it? Okay.
Am I going to go to Leon County?
Because of your family connection, I'm not sure what the protocol is about that, but whatever is going to be the safest option for you is probably going to be the one we go with, okay?
All right, so Justin, you don't need to talk anymore. You're not going to grant these people anything differently than what's going on.
Full of shit. Why the fuck are they doing this to me? I told them the truth. That's the truth. Okay. I drew a diagram.
Okay, well, the deal is Justin, this is where we are, and there's nothing I can do to help you at this point, okay? I don't know what we're going to do, how we're going to handle this.
Justin Haynes initially faced charges of attempted second-degree murder and animal cruelty. However, these charges were later dropped during his trial. Judge Barbara Hobbs faced public reprimand from the Florida Supreme Court due to her involvement in her son's arrest and inadequate management of her staff. The reprimand included a $30,000 fine and a 60-day suspension, and mandated that Hobbs, a judge in the Second Judicial Circuit since 2012, attend an employee management program. Remember, it's your curiosity that fuels this channel. Keep exploring, stay inspired, and join us for more amazing content next time.